Shalom. I would like to begin the lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakurash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops, great millstone, who have taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Peace and salutations to the brothers out there pushing this truth, the 100% truth out there. I don't know how it's in the Bible is the Akim. So, like you few sisters out there listening and learning, the Aqua to you, also I say Shalom. It's your brother, Harat Bar, back up with another lesson through the Spirit. I want to come to y'all with some logo and edifying, peace and sincerity. Just want to come to y'all with something real quick. That the brother Hadab Yarabad sent me. I was going to go ahead and do a lesson on it. It's pretty sad, I'm going to be honest. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play this video. Nonetheless, fair use.
Here's a picture of 37-year-old Sherry Magby. The details here are difficult, as Karen talked about. Investigators say one of her kids was so hungry they were eating roaches and ants.
In reference to a deceased child, unresponsive child.
Douglasville detective Andre Futch testified he arrived at this home in response to a 911 caller who said 1-year-old Jacob Slayton was unresponsive back in March. He says Jacob's 10-year-old brother said he had been sick.
He did administer Jacob some NyQuil in his milk bottle.
Jacob's 6-year-old brother said Jacob didn't have adequate food.
He stated that he observed Jacob eating roaches and ants.
Detective Futch testified 6 children under the age of 10 were in the home that was unsanitary, filled with garbage, and had no nutritious food.
Here's a picture of 37.
He says he learned the children's mother, 37-year-old Sherry Magby, had left home around 11 that morning. He says the children were home alone about 12 hours. Futch says Magby told him she had to work and returned home several times to check on the children.
It was found out that she never returned back to the residence.
Jacob died. Neighbors said the children were routinely left home alone.
We're here because my client's poor.
We're not just here because your client's poor.
Magby's attorney asked for bond, saying she is a single mother of 6 who had to work.
She has significant ties. She's lived here for a long time. We've heard that she's employed.
The judge decided not to grant her bond. He says he learned the children.
Court does find that there is a likelihood, a serious likelihood, that you would reoffend if you are granted bond in this case.
And Magby is slated for trial later this year on that assault case where she's accused of throwing a pocket knife at her teenage son as he ran out of the house. We also just learned she's been indicted in this new case. She faced 5 counts of second-degree child cruelty. As for that 1-year-old who died, that investigation continues, and Magby hasn't been charged in connection with that.
Court does find that there is a likely.
He says
Here's a picture of.
I'll go ahead and read the caption. It says, during a court hearing yesterday, a Douglas County judge denied bond to a 37-year-old Sherry Magby, a mother of 6, who was accused of severe child neglect. And, you know, that's exactly what it is, man. Quite frankly, it's sad, you know. It says in late March, she allegedly left her 1-year-old son, Jacob Slayton, at home with some of her other children around 11 a.m. and then returned that day. The oldest child at the home that day was 10. The 10-year-old told investigators that there's no food, which they already went ahead and discussed this in the video that I played. It says the judge denied bond to a Georgia woman whose 1-year-old ate roaches and ants and died while she was allegedly at a hotel with her boyfriend. Completely sickening and just sad, man. You know, it's just like the ultimate child neglect. And as when the brother showed me that video earlier this morning, I said, everybody's not fit to be a parent, man. You know, these people be having children out here, but just because you have a child does not mean that you're suited to be a good parent, man. You know, There are people out here who willingly neglect their children, man. You know, which is sad. And having children is a blessing, right? Now, of course, we're not in a period of time where it's good to have children right now, but nonetheless, it is a blessing from the Lord. So this is the book of Matthew 24, verse 10. It says, "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many." Oh, Salaki, I started the wrong verse. Matthew 24 and 12. Well, we can go ahead and get it. "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many. Because because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." You know, there's no care or concern at all for the well-being of our children, right? Couldn't have left them with a relative, gotten a babysitter, or just, you know what I'm saying. At the worst case, took them to a care facility, you know. But as the scriptures say, because iniquity is abounding, and the love of many shall wax cold. So people are growing colder and colder, and losing their empathy, man. It's just the way life is right now. Let's see if I can get this. It says, "Sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold." In NLT. Deuteronomy 28 and 56, and this is a part of the curses, man. It says, "The tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter." Right? And it's just a part of these curses, man. Like I was saying, it's just a part of the curses that the Lord placed upon us as a whole, man, as a people. You don't see stuff like this happen. Well, now you're starting to see it happen to Esau, because the curses are indeed falling upon them. But it wasn't common, for Edomites to be living cramped and fucked up situations, such as this one. To where you're so poor that you can't provide adequate living conditions, right? You're a single mother of 6. How do you end up in that situation, man? Because as much as people want to say, these men be neglecting their children, it'd be more so of the woman not wanting the man to be in the children's life, or they make it hard to where the man can't be in the children's life because they would rather be paid by the government and live off government assistance, so they can collect a paycheck. Because if the man's in the house or in the children's life, then they can't make any money off the children. Then on top of that, let's say that's not even the case. Women want to be so independent, but they can't make a good decision or discernment on who they let in between their legs, right? And they never consider that when you let a nigga release his load inside you. Is this a person that's gonna be, going to be responsible for his decisions, right? But, as I said, man, it's just a part of the curses, man. The variance, once again. Going back to that. Matthew 10 and verse 34 says, "Think not that I'm come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Right? Death. Death is all around. And it's going to increase, man. This is just the beginning, you know? For I'm come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother. So like, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's foe shall be there of his own household, right? You wouldn't think your mother would do you like that, right? She your mama. Would neglect you and really caused you to die, right? Like I said, man, it's just sad, man. It's really sad. Titus 2:1. But I speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, and patience. The aged women, likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not giving them much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, right? So the women are in charge, you know what I'm saying, raise these children up in a good way. And she failed at her job, you know, not being a good mother. Because women are supposed to be nurturing, you know what I'm saying, compassionate creatures. And over here in Babylon the Great, they aren't that. You know, you have a lot of women who are so damn masculine now, or not compassionate, that you think they inject testosterone into themselves, man. But it just comes with being in a backward society and backward society such as Babylon the Great, you know. So had this man eating roaches and ants. Bro, that's disgusting. Shaking my head, bro. I'm gonna go back to it once again. Ecclesiastes 25:13, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. You know? Let's go back here. Because this woman didn't even want to take accountability. Oh, I'm poor, asking for whatever she's asking for, bond, whatever, not to go to jail. Motherfucker, you literally caused your child to die. And you didn't seem like you have any type of remorse or any type of care concerning the world, you know? Such is the way of an adulterous woman, Proverbs 30:20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman, she eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness, you know? And there's one precept I'm trying to think of, I can't, it's on my mind, but it keeps losing me. I can't remember how it goes. Oh yeah, come on. Job 14:1, man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. Let's just go ahead and pull up a fact. let me see how I want to word this. What children turn out to be better raised in single mother household versus single father household? It says single father households do vastly better than single mother. Here's the reason why. The consensus is mothers typically make better parents than fathers, yet single fathers do better than single mothers. And here's why. It's extraordinarily well documented how much of a disadvantage children from single mother households have over children whose parents remain together, but less well documented is how much of a disadvantage they have over single father households. Studies have found that children that are from single mother households are 5 times more likely to commit suicide than children from both unbroken households and single father households. 9 times more likely to drop out of high school, 10 times more likely to abuse chemical substances, 14 times more likely to commit rape, 20 times more likely to end up in prison, and 32 times more likely to run away from home, right? The list does not stop there. Single mother households also account for 70% of all teen pregnancies, 70% of all children murders, and they account for the majority of felicit cases, which means, yes, a child living in a single mother household is the most likely to be murdered by their parent. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, right? Women are the weaker vessel, number one. Number two, men, when it comes to men, you have to keep yourself accountable, right? You can't live in la la land, so to speak, right? So when you come into the world, growing up with a single father, which I'm speaking from experience, you're held accountable, number one. Number two, it prepares you for life more because you know the truth, in a sense of you can't this fathers keep it real with you, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. Mothers will tell you lies or tell you smooth things, and a man's gonna tell you what you need to hear, right? Whether you want to or not. You can't react based on your emotions. That's why you have a lot of these YNs who are raised in single mother households and who are raised around their mothers out here who crash out, who tote guns and stuff like that, and who really just react to things based off their emotions because that's all they seen their mother do, because women aren't emotionally stable, or they're less emotionally stable than men are. And I'll let you continue to, actually I can go ahead and finish this off because I can't read the whole story anyways. Most at this point will probably think that the stepfather is the main killer and reason. However, studies have found this to be false, and that step-parents are no more likely to kill children than their biological counterparts. This means inevitably single mothers are, on average, the biggest killers of children, which you already have women who get abortions and pop Plan Bs like they're Skittles with no type of regard or understanding of what it's actually doing to their bodies, and it's quite literally killing your ability to recreate. But you know, they don't care about that shit. Some studies even show that mothers are the biggest killers of children overall, though it should be noted that others show it to be fathers, while others show that men and women are equally as likely to kill their children. You know, with studies like this, it really just depends on which way you look at it. But in my personal opinion, I could understand and see why single father households tend to do better than single mother households when it comes to raising children. So Regardless of the dynamics of this complex point, all of this seems crazy considering the consensus is mothers make better parents on average than fathers. The data seemingly says otherwise. And also, children are more likely to do what their father says the first time, man, because you have many instances where women, where children take advantage of their mothers because they don't have the same fear of their father that their father brings into the household, man. And at the end of the day, it's best to have both parents in the household. So it's not like I'm rooting or trying to promote single parenthood, right? Because the Lord never intended life to be that way anyways. That's just another thing that comes with being in Babylon the Great. But with that being said, man, Lord willing, the lesson was edifying to those out there listening and watching. I'm going to close it off there by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the other bishops, our great millstone, once again, who've taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Until next time, I say Shalom, Israel, Shalom. And as always, I'm one day closer to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Shalom, Israel, Shalom. As a matter of fact, Salaki, let me get this one last precept. Like I said, I was going to bring it out again. Ecclesiastes 25 and 24, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Shalom.